Уникальным историческим путем. Это страны с богатейшим культурным наследием и, конечно же, страны с особым своим взглядом на мировое развитие. Наши государства традиционно связывают уважение к суверенитету, к многополярному миру, принципам справедливости, взаимопонимания в международных отношениях.
Russia and Pakistan are sharing mutual appreciation of their culture. Pakistan is proud of its cultural heritage, its civilizational heritage, as well as Russia can represent itself with a rich cultural identity. So we are actually motivated, inspired here to discuss not only the different aspects of connectivity between people to people, the essence of public diplomacy, its role, its importance, but also to try to look beyond the horizons. What kind of perspectives can we seize between Russia and Pakistan?
Уважаемые гости, дамы и господа, господин Слободчиков, ректор Университета мировых цивилизаций, я благодарю вас всех, что смогли найти время и возможность прийти сегодня в этот прекрасный зал. И для меня большая честь и огромная радость открывать сегодняшний семинар.
Мировых цивилизаций имени Владимира Вольфовича Жириновского, который при содействии посольства Пакистана в Москве выдвинули эту своевременную и важную инициативу. Хотел бы поприветствовать всех участников мероприятия и пожелать всем продуктивной работы. Я бы хотел еще раз поблагодарить организаторов мероприятия и отметить, что посольство России в Пакистане перенимает у вас эстафетную палочку проведения дискуссий по двусторонним отношениям. И уже через несколько дней, буквально 18 декабря, здесь, в посольстве России в Исламабаде, опять же при поддержке консорциума азиатско-тихоокеанских и евразийских исследований, мы планируем провести российско-пакистанский круглый стол с участием представителей пакистанского научно-академического сообщества из различных вузов страны.
Ваше превосходительство, господин посол Термизи, Ваше превосходительство, госпожа посол Мерсикера, уважаемый Олег Николаевич, дорогие организаторы, дорогие гости, пакистанские, российские, я очень благодарен за эту возможность выступить на международном форуме.
It's a great honor for me and be here and take part in this opening ceremony of the International Russian-Pakistan Forum, which is really, really important for us. And
что мы с вами являемся свидетелями и участниками тоже эпохальных перемен, которые приводят нас сегодня к порогу новой, пока еще не вполне нам всем понятной и ясной эры, это не вызывает сомнений. 20-30 лет назад такие политические мыслители и визионеры, я не побоюсь этого слова, как Владимир Вольфович Жириновский, предчувствовали ту реальность, которая сегодня вот смотрит на нас с экранов наших планшетов, смартфонов, то есть откроем любой новостной агрегатор, мы видим эту реальность. А те из нас, кто работает в сфере международных отношений, они повседневно с этой реальностью сталкиваются в своих офисах.
Are done by the individuals, inspired by their vision and strong will. History respects those who remember their names and cherish their deeds. Therefore, public diplomacy is about people, is for people, and due to people's belief, strength, and inner freedom.
A newspaper which was also progressive left-leaning. So, Kasmadin and Tavarish, it's a pleasure, and my good friend, the lady with beauty and brains, not necessarily in that order, Professor Roxolana Zigon, because she could see the warmth being exuded by our Russian friends, Russian comrades, and also the camaraderie and the spirit of cooperation between Pakistan and Russia in a world which is turbulent and transformative when decades happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in that epoch. That in weeks, decades are happening. The world is being transformed. And the great Dr. Allama Iqbal, the poet of the East, said 90 years ago, see the sun rising in the east. Dekh mashriq se ubarte hue suraj ko dekh. That sun has risen. It's a dawn of a new era, as Oleg mentioned, as you also mentioned. And what is that? The global shift in the balance of power to the global south, in which Eurasia, of which Russia and Pakistan are an integral component, are the centers of gravity in this changing world. Pakistan of different Pakistan leaders, and we look forward to warmly welcoming him. He was recently in the region, but he will receive a very warm welcome when he comes to our part, our country also. And we have had this interaction. And we are very fortunate that we have two very, very capable, very effective, and very dynamic ambassadors in both capitals. This is very fortuitous. Mr. Tirmizi here, I've known him for 40 years. He was a young radical. He invited me as the chief guest in his college as a student leader 40 years ago, when it was politically incorrect to do so, because he goes against the tide. He's out of the box. And Albert Khairov is also a good dear friend. He's also like that. He's full of beans, dynamism. He has fire in his belly like him, and they want to both take this forward.
And Russia, I remember that I was during Margala Dialogue recently in Islamabad, and it was an amazing trilateral anti-meeting of China, Russia and United States representatives. And it was really funny because we were all sitting on the stage, the same stage. It was Daniel Runda from White House, Washington, who was just putting one foot on another and saying, hi guys, Pakistani, you know, you just have to understand that Donald Trump is ready to take your rare resources and this is what you can offer to us. Don't listen to this Chinese guy. Don't listen to this Russian lady especially. Whatever she's offering to you, listen to us. And after that, me and my Chinese colleague, Dr. Gao, joined our hands and we gave such an artillery, response to Mr. Runda that actually he wiped off from the stage.
Mashallah.
Absolutely. As leading Pakistani strategic affairs expert and advisor to the Ministry of Defense, specializing in South Asian nuclear policy and strategic stability. She is also the chairperson and president of SISSI University and the founding vice chancellor of Muslim Youth University. She previously co-directed the South Asian Strategic Stability Unit at the University of Bradford and has taught at major institutions including National Defense University, the Foreign Service Academy, Pakistan's War Colleges, and the NATO Defense College. She is the author of Afghanistan 2014, The Decision Point, and Emerging Nuclear Postures and Implications for Strategic Stability. She's a very, very serious lady.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Roxolana. I will just echo the deepest gratitude which Ambassador Senator Mushaid and Ambassador Faisal Tirmizi had stated for being on this forum, that is the Consortium for Asia Pacific and Eurasian Studies, the Federal Order Universities, and most importantly the World Civilization University. It's the first time where people have come together, but not just people, but people who are the thought leaders.
Thank you, Roxolana Yurievna, and thank you for invitation. I'm glad to see our Pakistani friends, especially Dr. Maria Sultan. As I told, we know each other for years. We met in Islamabad a few times. Actually, first time I visited Pakistan in 2018. I was invited to participate in counter-terrorism forum. Also, I provided report and I was moderator of one panel with minister and with high-rank politicians of Pakistan. Then visited other conferences in Marbella Dialogue Forum, also was special guest in Command and Staff Quetta College and to provide lecture on hybrid warfare. Actually, most of my visit was dealing with unconventional conflict because it's one of my scientific interests. And thanks to my visit to Pakistan, I developed this book, Hybrid War and Grey Zone.
Therefore, the maritime security challenges of breakdown include non-traditional security threats such as maritime terrorism, piracy, human trafficking, drug smuggling, trafficking in weapons, illegal fishing, threat of maritime pollution. In order to preserve a long-term strategic magnetism between warring states and political establishments in the region of South Asia, as an emerging geopolitical ground of the global players' rivalry, there should be strongly promoted an initiative of the non-traditional security collaboration.
Roxolana, can I introduce?
Yeah.
Hello. I'm sorry because I have to introduce Ambassador Andrei Glebovich Baklanov. He's one of the most eminent Russian diplomats, and he used to be ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Saudi Arabia for 5 years. And he is one of the leading experts, specialists. He's Arabist, our pride and dignity, and also he's guiding the group of young Arabists in the School of Economy, High Economic School.
With you, Roxolana, with your proposal to explore the opportunities of having quite new angles of the security arrangements, including the axis or triangles, Russian, Pakistan, and so on. But I'm afraid that all these new schemes cannot work if there will be one factor spoiling the atmosphere. This is Russian-American rivalry. So if we speak about non-traditional approaches, I think that also we must explore the opportunity of certain tranquilization as far as the Russian-American rivalry, or replacing this rivalry with a kind of neutrality or even cooperation. In this respect, I'd like to inform you that during these years, even in the Biden period of time, we, without propaganding too much, we had the channels of dealing with American colleagues, especially in the Middle East and security arrangements. And recently we had additional meetings in Budapest, in Yerevan, with American colleagues, and also there was a talk about the necessity of trying to find quite new approaches for tranquilization in the regions, Middle East, Asia, etc. Also the maritime security arrangement scheme. For us, perhaps necessary to start it, to make some kind of first gestures, first exploratory notes, and maybe the results will be much more promising than we can imagine at this juncture. Once again, I greet you, and I think that the beginning of our seminar is very much promising, and I think that we'll go on and we'll have some decisions which would be very workable. Thank you.
What was the Marshall Plan? The Marshall Plan, interestingly, was not about railway connections. It was actually to replace barter trade with a new financial system, and at the back of it, bring up the economic dollar as the center of global financial transactions. Now, this is the flow pattern. This is the amount of economics which is moving. And as you can see, the money shift is also east-west. You see that tomorrow there is a war in the Middle East. It doesn't affect the United States, but it affects everybody else in the world. General Security for Military Information Agreement, Security Sensitive Data, Lima, Kamkasa, DICA, STA-1, and last but not least, the US-India Defense Framework Agreement. Now, as a result of this, India has now become officially part of the US Economic Defense Corridor, part of the US Economic Corridor, US Security Corridor, and an interoperable force. By 2026, 60% of the Indian defense equipment will be American and American allies. It's the new future, economics is the new future, and Pakistan-Russia relation presents that opportunity at hand, at possibility. All of you are part of history, and with your thinking, we can change this dimension for the better. I urge you all to think afresh.